Hello and welcome to the Coming Down to Earth with Spirit podcast with me, your host, David Hale. In the podcast, we'll be talking about mediumship and all things spiritual in a down-to-earth and honest kind of way, with a touch of humour also. So I hope you can join me on my podcast journey so you can learn from my own spiritual journey and experiences with spirit in the aim to help you on your own spiritual journey, or it may just be to answer any of those questions that you have about the spiritual world. So join me now as we get into this episode. Hello everyone and welcome to another episode in the Spiritual Impacts series. I hope you're all doing well. Now in this episode I'm going to talk about an experience which really did have an impact on me, and it was very early into my development. It was 2018, and so in a year and a half into my proper development as a medium. And it was my experience at the Freedom Tower in New York, where the Twin Towers once stood. Now, before we were going to New York, I knew that this was probably going to be a site that we were going to visit. And in my head, I was almost trying to prepare myself for it, because I was aware of some other mediums that had gone and they had to leave the building. And they had told their experience of feeling the energy within that environment. And I also had other medium friends of mine just say to me, look, just make sure that you are closed down before you go, so you're not picking up on any residual energy that's left within that area or the building or what have you. And I thought, okay, I'm very good. Look, I'm very disciplined at closing down. Myself and spirit have an agreement that when I'm out and about doing things, you do not connect with me. I'm not about to walk up to somebody and ambush them with a reading. When I'm out doing my physical earthly things, that's my time. I'm not working. I'm not on. So I'm very good at switching down. I'm very disciplined at doing that. But this case was different. So we got to New York and we're having a lovely time, and I knew that my mum, my sister and my sister's boyfriend, they all wanted to go and see the place and pay respects and all that business. But there was something in me, I was a little bit nervous. And I did, I said to Spirit, right, I'm closed for business, please leave me alone while I go to this place. I don't want to pick up on any of the energy because of the horrendous event that happened there. But I thought, okay, I'll be okay. We got there, we walked around outside, we stood by the fountain, and it's just very peaceful. It was very quiet. People were very respectful. There was no shouting or talking really outside. It was actually quite a strange experience, but it was peaceful. And then we walked into the building. And as we started going down the escalators into the reception kind of area of the building, I started to feel a bit odd. I started to feel a bit funny. I thought, no, let's not start this. Let me just, ignore what's going on around me and just, But when we got to the reception area, I stood there and I thought, that I feel quite ill actually, and I thought at one point I was going to have to leave the building, just get out. I thought, David, stop being so stupid, just get on with it and have a look around the museum and all that. Just get on with it. But I stood there thinking, oh God, I just feel a bit ugh. And then as I was stood there, before we even started walking around doing anything, I had a name placed in my head. And I had the name of William placed in my head. And then I saw an image of a man's head. It was like I was seeing like a headshot, like a photo kind of thing. Just from like the top of the chest upwards. This man had a big smile on his face. He had dark hair and he was wearing a shirt and a tie. I think he was wearing a jacket as well. And I thought, stop it. I must just be imagining things. William is a very common name. I just need to just get on with it. Just ignore it and get on with it and just have a look around, do what we're here to do. But as I stood there, I kept hearing over and over again, William, 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 and I kept seeing this man's face in my head. And look, bear in mind, I'm only a year and a half into my development, so I'm still working things out in my head, how I'm seeing things, how I'm picking up information, all that kind of stuff. So part of me was like, yeah, right, whatever. But then I thought, okay, let me lean into it then, because it's starting to get on my nerves a little bit. And as I leaned into the name William, I started getting a surname, and I don't usually get a whole full name. If I do get a full name, I impress myself. And I was getting some that began with a G, and it was like Gurner, Gardner, something like that, and I couldn't quite place it. I thought, okay, whatever. And then as I saw him, all I heard him say to me in my mind was, "I'm glad you came." I thought, okay, and I could feel he was a really nice man. And he gave me the numbers 7 and 3. And my feeling was that was to do with being on the 73rd floor. I think it was 7 and 3. I think it was 7 and 3 that he gave me. I thought, oh, okay. And I thought, no, thank you very much. I'm going to just push it aside so I can get on with things because I'm starting to feel a little bit odd now and here. And as I stood there, it kept coming to my mind again. I thought, oh, do you know what? I've got to just get rid of this out of my head because otherwise it's going to just not irritate me, but it's just going to bother me all the way around. So I thought, no, I got my phone out and I thought, right, let me see if there is a victim, someone who did pass in those 9/11 atrocities, right? So I got my phone out, went onto this website to look at all the names of it might sound really morbid, but I just had to get rid of this thing out of my head. So I was looking down the list and there it was, William A. Gardner. There was no picture, it was just his name, William A. Gardner, who I think died on the 37th floor, not the 73rd. So I thought, okay, that I'll take that as it is. That must be who it is that is communicating with me. And once I had got that, I felt a little bit better. So anyway, we started to walk around the museum and I started feeling really odd. My mum was with me and my sister and her boyfriend had gone off by themselves. And as I walked around, I started to feel all these different emotions. One minute I was I was okay. The next minute I felt angry. The next minute I felt irritated. And my mum was seeing this in me all the way around. And that's not me, right? I just got on with it. I'm not an angry person, do you know what I mean? But I was feeling all these different emotions and I was just feeling really, really odd. And it followed me all the way around the museum, right? If anyone's been there, it just followed me all the way around. And then we got towards the end where you get to the memorial wall where you have all the pictures, the headshots of those that had passed. And we walked in there and I looked up and I said to my mum, there he is. I caught him exactly how I saw him in my head, with the dark hair, the big smile, the shirt and the tie, and it's William A. Gardner. But that's who it is. Straight away I clocked him. And so that kind of validated for me what was going on. For whatever reason, he linked into me, and he said that he was glad that I came for whatever reason. I guess because in my head before I actually went, as I said, I was feeling very nervous. I just wasn't sure about it, but everyone else wanted to go, so we went. And then thankfully, not shortly after that, we left and got out of there. I think went up to the cafe and had something to eat and drink. And Mum looked at me. She said, "That bothered you all the way around, didn't it?" I said, "Yes, it did, and thank God I'm out of there." But it's as much as I tried to close myself down, I just those energies I just couldn't keep out of my energy. So, but every year I try to do a little tribute on my page to William and everyone else that has on my Facebook page, a tribute to William and those that had passed as well. But it's, if you are a sensitive person or a medium or whatever, and you want to go, they do go. It's outside especially is quite peaceful, where you've got that memorial fountain, but indoors, just beware. Just close yourself right down, protect your energy, because honestly, it felt a lot. It felt my mum, my brother, my mum, my sister, and my sister's boyfriend. They were all okay, but for me, it was just, it was a lot. So I don't think I'd do it ever again. I think I've seen it. I don't need to see it again. I don't need to go there again. And that's just my experience. So it did have an impact on me because, at that time I was still learning. I was still developing, very much in my early development, still working out, how does this all work? Can I pick up things in a place, in an atmosphere that, where I'm not doing a reading? I'm just there just to enjoy the moment. Can I do that? So it's very much a learning process for me. But yeah, I just want to talk about my little experience there. And just, if you do go, just, take my advice and make sure that you are closed completely down energetically from any spirit person connecting with you. And look, he wasn't there to do me any harm. As I say, he just wanted to thank me for coming. And I think the lesson for me, especially being at the very early stages of my development, the lesson was to teach me that in those kind of areas, those kind of buildings, that kind of space where traumatic things like that happen, the energy just doesn't of that event just doesn't disappear and dissipate. It can stay around, and it's not there. It's not. I wouldn't say it's not haunted, and it's not necessarily it's ghosts walking around, but it's just the energy, the residual energy of that situation, that horrific event. It can be imprinted within the area, within the building, so it kind of taught me that. But yeah, so it's definitely an experience. It definitely taught me a few things as well. But yeah, just wanted to share that little story with you. And now I'm going to shut up and let you get on with your day. So thanks again for listening, and I'll speak to you all soon. So there you have it. That's the episode finished. Hopefully you enjoyed what you heard, and if so, there are more episodes in the Spiritual Impact series to come. So do stick around if you're interested in learning more from my own personal experiences with spirit to help you on your own spiritual path. But look after yourselves, and I'll speak to you all soon.